Hey there everyone, this is Jeremy, the Music Andy, here to talk about the Kaizo Manifesto by Kaizo Slumber. Hardcore breaks, hardcore EDM from Libyan-German producer Kaizo Zaid. This is inspired from 90s rave soundscapes. I have to say I'm not very familiar with the genres of hardcore breaks or a lot of EDM music. I know some breakbeat from Jet Set Radio Future, playing it as a kid. I also know a little bit of breakcore from the Chemical Brothers, whether you call that breakcore or breakbeats. Not saying it's the same as hardcore breaks, but those are the ones that I'm familiar with. However, this isn't the Chemical Brothers. This is not Jet Set Radio Future. This is Kaizo Slumber, and I'm very excited to listen to this, especially from looking at the album cover on this. This almost Pepsi Man looking character is throwing some rock-on horns, and I'm ready to dive right into this album, so let's get right to it. A conflict between Mother Nature and Techno Gaia is the first track on this, and I gotta say I love the first name on it already. Birds chirping takes us into a Kaizo worldwide bitch, and then the track absolutely just takes off after that. Oh, this is what hardcore breaks is. I can tell that I'm already gonna like this album just from the intensity of it. The beat is obviously repetitive in nature, but there is a very progressive backdrop on this. The use of dynamics from lowering and highering volumes rather than removing and adding instruments is also a very nice touch, even though obviously instruments are added in and taken from it. This is a very active song. I can see the intensity of it. I love the tones. I love the direction of it. I can definitely see people, gaming to this, working out to this, just doing anything active to this that really draws attention and makes you want to focus harder. This is a very enjoyable first song. I can see the 90s themes to it because I'm getting nostalgic feelings from things that I don't even know why I'm getting nostalgic feelings from it. Very nice song. Cruel Earth Mother is the second track on this, and it is just a sped up version of the last track with brighter key flicks on it. That is until the bass comes in on this. Now I feel I understand where the hardcore and hardcore breaks comes from this bass being added to it. This bass is heavy. It actually might be too heavy, because it's starting to malfunction, distort, and stretch itself completely. Again, with the electronic music, this is often programmed and it has a robotic feeling to it. However, the use of dynamics, the use of distorting and effects on this really make it feel like a human is playing this, adding a lot more emphasis where they want to, and drawing back when they need to as well. I love this second track, and I don't mind that it is just taking the first track and going off of it, because it is a completely different feel, and I think it is a nice touch to show these two balances back to back. Human A Cosmic Horror is the third track on this, and it's a lot more softer approach on it. Very soothing synths lighting up the backdrop as keys are climbed up and down a scale, both chorded and single noted. The lead key melody on this is beautiful, and it adds a great contrast and a very interesting tone to this euphoric synth environment. This is obviously a break from the last two songs, which were both heavy on intention, heavy on focus, and heavy on being a very active song. The tones are obviously, like I said, a lot more mellowed, and you are guided more in this song in a more linear direction than everything being all over the place. Great use of this song being here, especially from the last song, which had that heavy bass. I need a little bit of a break after it shook me up a little bit. The Carbon Menace, track 4, again is heavy on the bass, and it has these ski-sloped synths, keeping the edges on the walls of the beats. No, I will not explain what a ski-sloped synth is, so I will go on to explain that the beats and rhythms are very progressive in this, and very creating, adding for a lot of direction in it, while also keeping an enjoyable listen going. Also, when the bass has moments of derailing itself from the intensity of the song starting to boil over, it again adds to those human elements in electronic music that I love to hear. These human moments in electronic music often feel like mistakes, but obviously they are not mistakes because they are programmed into it, which is exactly why I like them so much. You Won't Download track 5 is probably one of my favorite songs on this entire album. This is heavy, aggressive, chaotic, busy, while having some incredible drum work on it that I think stands out from the entire track. They are more supportive rather than attention drawing themselves, which is a great compliment to this song as it is pushing it in the best direction possible. Also, the shout samples again remind me of Jet Set Radio Future, and I absolutely loved it as a kid, so I'm going to love it as an adult, right? The laser-like synth on this is also goopy, and I mean that in the best possible way, as it is an interesting tone paired along with this heavy guitar-like riff. This song definitely will get your neurons firing for sure. The Techno Gaia Accelerates Technology and You is the 6th track on this, and it again has those ski slope synths that I talked about previously and the goopy laser combined together in this track. There are also tons of vocal samples that I absolutely love. This is the rave with a modern approach that the artist was talking about on Bandcamp that they were going for. This song is wildly addictive and it had me bouncing around in my chair. I was having so much fun, it was ridiculous. This song really doesn't evolve like the other ones. It is more focused on the rhythms and they just loop over and over, not really any lead instrumentation going on like the other songs. And that's not a bad thing. It's really just a vibe song, a rave song, a club song, and it does it very, very well. Cyberpunks Aren't Dead is featuring Murmur, I believe that is how it is pronounced, and it has the PlayStation turning on and you are in a Final Fantasy rave party. At least that's how I took it. If you don't follow anything that I just said, it is a hyper rave song with a lot of vaporwave synths kind of weaved in between these two things. This slowly evolves into a poem that is shared between a human and a robot at the same time. This is about robots and humans coming together to give back to the earth. We become free of our labors, so we spend our time giving back to the earth and revitalizing it back to a optimal level of health. We have to join together as flesh and iron brothers and sisters. And I think that this is a really interesting approach on this album, especially going along with the song titles on it. I don't know, why not use all the technology that we've accumulated in our society and finally give back to the earth? Wait, this is the music Andy, this is not the political Andy. So I will not go into a political discussion on it, but I do enjoy this song and I enjoy the message very much. Track 8, Purple is the New Green, it kind of transports me to a Mario Party on the beach kind of vibe. We have mountainous climbs from the key sections going up and down the scale. We have percussive tones that sound like they're coming from shells, and we have sprinkles of sunshine kind of splashed all around this track. The rhythm section on this is absolutely tearing up the rug and lighting it on fire. It really does not give you any moment to breathe, except for just very small brief moments. I think this is really creative stuff. I love the tones. I love the idea of old tones coming in and being guided under a new light and stretched further. It's very, very nice, and I love this track. Techno Gaia's Dystopia Problem is track number 9, and it lets us know that yes, people are going to die in the first few seconds. Then the whole track is absolutely slam dunked into a violent bass section that is pulsating and it is very moving and it's very rhythmic and it goes off tempo and on tempo and it's just a lot. This song is amazing in these bass moments, but when the bass kind of fades away, it kind of goes back to similar tones and melodies that have been previously established without building on it, and it's not a lot going on. Yes, it is new in tempo, but it really didn't need to bring back the ski slope synth because it didn't build on it very much. Still though, this is a nice song, it just really doesn't differ from the other ones, except for those bass moments. Menace Be Gone is a quick track, only really 1 minute and 14 seconds in length. Reminds me again of the Cyberpunks Aren't Dead song, kind of that rave feel. It doesn't really build off into anything or add on to it very much. It really just feels like a quick fill interlude in between that last bass song. Again, this is a welcomed feature for me because it lets me calm down for a second. Schleierberg, I think that's how you pronounce it, track 11, kind of feels like a classic song. However, until the last beat occurs and it has a little fill section that's very interesting on it. You get like a slowed down stacking progression that kind of just explodes right back into the beat, and it is a very nice setup into it. The song completely shatters once the main synth leaves, and then we have like a fly in a locked room just going absolutely nuts in it. And honestly, when this last tone is introduced, at the end of the song, it's introduced in a new environment, and I feel it works in a way better way than it was previously shown so far. A New Earth, track 12, is the absolute peak of this album, I feel. Very active in a way of bringing in new tones and actively expanding on old tones. The vocal samples on this add a lot of emphasis to the urgency of this song and is also a very nice tone. This song is very high speed moving, but it is also contrasted by this main harp-like noise that is sprinkled on. The notes from this harp feel spaced out, adding a lot of, I would say, slowed down approach to this. But however, this loop is being played very aggressively, so it both contrasts and supports the high speeds of the song so far. The bass on this is also at a very comfortable level, It's kind of setting the floor for the instruments to walk on and expand from and to return to when they go too far. The brightest green is the final track on this, and please tell me if my mind is playing tricks on me. The main jingle on this feels like it's from the Paper Mario game from the GameCube when all these stars are giving their power to you. That might not be the GameCube one, it might be the Nintendo 64 one, but it just feels like the jingle that's going on when you're meeting up with all the stars in the sky and they're just pumping all their power into Mario. If this is not the jingle from Mario, congratulations to the artist for making me feel like I'm 10 years old on Christmas Day, wrapped in a blanket playing Super Mario, Paper Mario, for the Nintendo 64 or GameCube. I can't remember which one it was. I feel this is a great end to the album. It has a lot of peace into it, but it also has a lot of uncertainty and urgency built into it as well. The use of off keys on the scale from the keys kind of add a new light and direction at random moments for the song, but it eventually ends on that peaceful kind of euphoric ending. Pleasant ending, rather. Again, like I said, I am not too familiar with the genre of music, but I'm glad that I stopped and gave this a listen for sure. I honestly listened to this album about 14 times over the last 2 days, just listening to it in the background while I work, or rather when I'm playing games. It was just an enjoyable listen, and I didn't just do it to do a review on it. I'm impressed and mad that I have not looked into this genre further, but that is going to end now. I will look more into this genre because I'm very excited to see from it. I see Nano Ray come out with a lot of hardcore break stuff, like 3 albums a year, so I'm sure I can dive into that a little bit and see if I like it. With that all being said, I am going to give this 8.2 Pepsi Mans out of 10. What did you think of this album? What albums would you like me to review in the future? Please leave a comment below and let me know. Subscribe if you like the content, and again, I hope that you have a wonderful day.